At 9 a.m. on Thursday, December 14th, it says here in front of me. This is the members and directors meetings of HFA and AHC and Sunny Mae and my favorite, the Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation. Oh, and BBA as well, of course. So I'm going to turn things over. You'll be pleased to know I have no opening comments, although I'm invited to share them with you right now, but in the interest of time and all of your busy schedules, forget that. I'm just going to turn things over to the now quenched Linda, who will take the requisite legal steps to formally open this set of meetings this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I note that Erica Lewandowski, representing the Director of the Division of Budget, is participating via video conference from the New York State Division of Budget Conference Center at Capitol Building 131 in Albany, New York. I'm sorry, Capitol Building Room 131 in Albany. And Ms. Mathilda Gonzalez is participating from the Syracuse Regional Office, 620 Erie Boulevard, Suite 312 in Syracuse. I'll ask for motions and seconds to call to order the December 14, 2017 meetings of the New York State Housing Finance Agency, the State of New York Affordable Housing Corporation, the State of New York Mortgage Agency, the State of New York Municipal Bond Bank Agency, and the Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation. Motion, can I please have a motion for the HFA and AHC board?
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. And a motion for the Sunny Mae board?
So moved.
Second.
And motions for MBBA and TSFC?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. As items are presented to each board throughout today's meetings, these motions and seconds will be used unless specific items call for a different vote or unless any board member or director wishes to record his or her vote differently.
Linda, thank you. I'm now going to turn things over to President Ruth Ann Wisnauskas for her President's Report.
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everybody. We have a really full agenda, so I will be brief. At this morning's Mortgage Insurance Committee, 4 new projects were approved for insurance. They represented 187 units of affordable housing located in Erie, Westchester, Onondaga, and Kings counties. In a few moments on the HFA agenda, we'll be seeking your approval on 5 financings. These projects are located in New York City, New Rochelle, in Horseheads in Chemung County, and they represent about 300 units of affordable housing. Also this morning we have a series of administrative items. In terms of what we've been up to since my last report a few weeks ago, we held a lovely ribbon cutting for a veterans project in Canandaigua called Liberty Apartments, the Thursday before Veterans Day in early November. It's in November. We do our Employee Service Awards, which are the awards for both milestone tenures for the employees, as well as we did some achievement awards for a few staff. So we did those in the Lexington office, in the Beaver Street office, in Gertz, and in Albany, which is always sort of a nice event. In November, I was on the strategic, I think it's called the Strategic Implementation Assessment Team, the SIAT, which is a group of commissioners that goes to the different REDCs. I was lucky to see our Sunny Mae board member at the one in Long Island, but I went to the one in Long Island and in New York City. They're really interesting presentations around what the Regional Economic Development Council see as their priorities, the things that they are investing money in for job growth. A lot of them also have housing components to them, so those are sort of a fun thing for me to be a part of this year. Right before Thanksgiving, I was lucky enough to go to Staten Island and give away turkeys to people, which I had not done before, but it was actually an extremely heartwarming event that I would look certainly forward to doing again next year.
What are you doing for Christmas?
And I'll see. You don't get a lot of advance notice, so I'll stay local.
You get to name the turkeys?
No, they were frozen. So but it was actually incredible. They gave people in a bag a turkey, stuffing, potatoes, carrots, cranberry. I think they had soda. They were like 40-pound bags of food. They're intended to feed a family of 10. So it's really sort of a wonderful amount of food to give to folks.
Did you pardon the turkey?
What's that?
Did you pardon a turkey?
I did not. I don't
There's
think
a lot of
I don't
authority,
think
but
I'm
not that much.
authorized to do that.
These turkeys had not committed any crimes, were not guilty of sexual harassment,
If there was a problem.
and had not violated the emoluments clause.
After that, post Thanksgiving, I went up to Ithaca for the day. We did a ribbon cutting for a project with Ithaca Neighborhood Housing Services called Hancock Plaza, which was a really interesting site that had been sitting for a long time in Ithaca as kind of an eyesore and got redeveloped both as multifamily and as home ownership. The mayor, Savante Myrick, who's a really sort of cool mayor in Ithaca, who's been
About
around
23
for a while.
years old.
He's a little young, but let's not be ageist on the southern side of things. He
Graduated from Cornell.
he's graduated from Cornell. He's an incredible story. He's very smart. He's very committed, and he came out to a project which got always for us sort of welcoming community support, since we don't always get community support depending on where we are, and so we're sort of thankful for his leadership on that. Early in December, I went down to DC for the day for the NCSHA, the National Council of State Housing Finance Agency Executive Director meeting, where we talked a lot about private activity bonds and tax reform and what is going on right now, and also had several folks from Treasury and HUD, and also the senior economist for the Vice President's office come in and talk to us about things that were going on. It was very interesting. It mentions in here that we had the housing conference last week, and I got an award, but I don't really want to talk about that. But the housing conference was the New York housing conference was last week, and actually a lot of staff came to a couple panels. I did a panel in the morning with the chair of the Housing Authority, and also the city housing commissioner and the HUD regional administrator. So that's sort of 4 senior women in housing, which is always nice to see. I did a panel in the morning about sort of the state of HUD and what's going on. I went that same day to the Supportive Housing Network of New York, Shinny's board meeting, and talked about our efforts around supportive housing, which, as everyone knows, is a major focus of our housing plan. And last but not least, yesterday we had a lovely meeting with Senator Betty Little, who is the chair of the Housing Committee on the Senate side, and we talked about some of the legislative initiatives we are thinking about as it relates to manufactured homes specifically, and a couple of other things. But she certainly seems like she's going to be a great partner for us as we head into this next year. And lastly, I would do a quick tax reform update, which I don't know anything more than anybody else knows, but I do get 75 emails a day from various people sort of saying where they think we are or may be, which is that it would appear the private activity bonds and the 4% low-income housing tax credit programs are in and sort of saved. I heard actually late last night that there still may be tweaks to it around carry forward and how much carry forward is allowed and other things in the House, but all signs point to them actually staying in the bill, which is great, and that it's going to get voted out on Monday and Tuesday of the House, and then the Senate to be on the president's desk because everybody reads before Christmas. I think the mortgage interest deduction will remain in some form with this $10,000 allowance on the SALT. So we'll see. It's not over till it's over, but it definitely has been very touch and go over the last couple of weeks, and so we at least feel happy today that it would appear that private activity bonds are saved in the tax reform bill. So we'll update that as things progress. And with that, I turn it back to you.
That's a very helpful review, Ruth Ann, of what has been obviously for you a very busy, and your colleagues, a very busy and productive month. And we'll count on you to give us an update on the implications of the tax reform legislation at our next meeting, or whenever you deem appropriate.
I think it will be ongoing.
It probably will be ongoing. Linda?
I'm coming back.
Linda? Oh. Linda she will do when she returns, a summary of committee
I'm
items.
being a pain in the tush today. Okay.
No. Do what you gotta do.
So, first is the report of the Mortgage Insurance Committee. The committee took the following actions earlier today: adopted the minutes of the November 6, 2017 meeting, approved 100% mortgage insurance on a $3,880,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for Kraft Apartments, Westchester County. approve 100% mortgage insurance on a $2,560,000 loan for CPC permanent first mortgage loan for Livonia 2, Kings County. Recommended approval of 100% mortgage insurance on a $7,500,000 CPC permanent first mortgage loan for 1920-23 North Street, Buffalo, Erie County. Approve 100% mortgage insurance on a $3,150,000 CPC mortgage loan for 321 through 323 South Selenia Street, Syracuse, Onondaga County. The report of the audit committees. The committees took the following action earlier today. All 5 committees adopted their minutes. All 5 committees adopted a resolution approving the audit committee action plan for 2017. All 5 committees adopted a resolution reviewing and approving the internal audit staff functions. The Sunny May committee approved a servicer audit report. And following is the report of the governance committees for all 5 agencies. All 5 committees adopted the minutes. All 5 committees adopted a resolution recommending approval of the MWBE master plan for 2018-2019. All 5 committees adopted a resolution recommending the approval of the state disabled veteran-owned business enterprise master plan, master goal plan for 2018-2019. All 5 committees adopted a resolution approving salary ranges for senior officers. The Sunny May Governance Committee adopted a resolution approving the extension of a contract with Genworth Mortgage Insurance Corporation for administrative services. All 5 committees reviewed the financial services contracts with the firms on the agency's pre-qualified plan. All 5 committees reviewed a report on salary adjustments for management confidential employees, and all 5 committees received the annual ethics report.
We will now present items shared by HFA, AHC, Sunny May, MBBA, and TSFC. Linda will record the approval of the minutes.
The first item is the approval of the minutes of the HFA, Sunny May, and AHC boards held on November 6, 2017, and October 12, 2017, and those for the MBBA and TSFC boards held on September 14, 2017. They shall be deemed approved absent further corrections other than was noted during today's governance committee from the members and directors.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
please.
Ken. Can I just correct the MBBA and TSFC minutes?
Yes, please, Andy.
I don't know if this is signal, but you guys left me off the absentee list.
Uh-oh. Had you in mind.
You want to remove me? No, I'm only kidding. I just wanted to correct the minutes that I was list me as being absent on September 14th.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about
Thank you. Don't apologize. Thank you for the correction.
And you were missed.
We will now move to the shared action item. Linda will now call the Finance and Program Committees of HFA, Sunny May, and MBBA to order.
At this point, I call to order the 72nd Finance and Program Committee meeting of the HFA Board, the 23rd Finance and Program Committee of the Sunny May Board, and the 10th Finance and Program Committee of the MBBA Board, each of which will be held jointly with this board meeting. Can I have a motion to open the committee meetings for HFA, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
For Sunny May.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
For MBBA and TSFC.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We will use these recorded votes as we move forward today.
The minutes of the 71st meeting of the HFA Finance and Program Committee, the 22nd meeting of the Sunny May Finance and Program Committee, and of the 9th MBBA and TSFC Finance and Program Committee shall be deemed approved, absent corrections from members. Now we're going to move on to the consent items this morning. There will be no discussion of these items unless board members so request. The next item on the agenda is a resolution approving annual and fourth quarter bond sale reports.
There are no questions now before the HFA and Sunny May boards is a resolution of the State of New York Housing Finance Agency and the State of New York Mortgage Agency approving the agency's bond sale reports. Assuming the first and second previously entered for HFA and Sunny May, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motion is,
Thank you.
thank you. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Item 4 is a resolution approving Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Annual Goal Plan for fiscal year 2018-2019. Again, I want to thank Veronica and Nitra for the discussion we had in an earlier meeting about this item today. that particularly, or especially at the governance committee meeting. It's now up for a vote unless board members wish to comment further on this item we discussed. Any comment or questions from board members? We're, I think, quite familiar with it and a healthy and productive discussion. The report in connection with this item was sent to board members under separate cover, and it should be in your materials as well, on your laptops today. Linda?
And now before all 5 boards for approval is a resolution of the State of New York Mortgage Agency, the New York State Housing Finance Agency, the State of New York Affordable Housing Corporation, the State of New York Municipal Bond Bank Agency, and the Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation, approving the annual updated and consolidated minority and women-owned enterprise annual goal plan for fiscal year 2018-2019. Assuming the first and second previously entered for all agencies, all in favor, please, for each of the agencies, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motions are carried and the resolution adopted. And I apologize, I forgot to note earlier that Chris Curtis is participating also in the Capitol building on behalf of
There he
the
is.
Commissioner of Taxation and Finance. So we welcome Chris, and I apologize for that oversight.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Linda, thank you, and thank you, Chris. Item 5, resolution approving service-disabled veteran-owned business program annual plan for fiscal year 2018-19. This item was discussed earlier, as folks in this room will recall, at the governance committee meeting, and is now up for a vote unless board members wish to comment on it. Any comments or questions on this plan, on the goal plan for the next fiscal year? Again, the report in connection with this item was sent to board members under separate cover. Linda?
Assuming the first and second previously entered for each of the board, now before all 5 boards is a resolution of the New York State Mortgage Agency, the State of New York Housing Finance Agency, the State of New York Affordable Housing Corporation, the State of New York Municipal Bond Bank Agency, and the Tobacco Settlement Financing Corporation, approving the annual updated and consolidated service-disabled veterans-owned business program annual goal plan for fiscal year 2018. Assuming the first and second previously entered for each of the agencies, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motions are carried and the resolution adopted.
We're now going to move on to the shared information items. There will be no discussions on the next 4 items on the agenda unless board members and directors so request. Item 6 is the board self-evaluation. That's contained in your materials, and I know we need to turn it in by January at some point, right, Linda?
Right.
That's the 1-pager survey. Item 7 is the review of report on agency administration of ethics policy. Item 8, current agency procurements in the lobbying restricted period. And item 9, review of the 4th quarter report of the financial status of existing hedges. Again, all of this, board members have all of this. So Linda will ask for motions and seconds to adjourn the MBBA and TSFC meetings.
Assuming the first and second previously entered for MBBA and TSFC Finance and Program Committees, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the committee meetings are adjourned. Assuming the first and second previously entered for MBBA and TSFC boards, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motions are carried and the meetings are adjourned. Our next meeting for the MBBA and TSFC boards is scheduled for Thursday, January 25th at 9 a.m.
We're now going to move on to the Sunny May items this morning. Note that the next item on the Sunny May agenda was discussed and voted on earlier at today's Mortgage Insurance Committee meeting. It's now up for a vote by the Sunny May board. There will be no discussion unless directors so request. So it's item 10, my friends. Resolution approving 100% mortgage insurance on a CPC $7,500,000 permanent first mortgage loan for 19-23 North Street in Buffalo in Erie County. Linda?
So now before the board is a resolution approving, a resolution of the State of New York Mortgage Agency approving mortgage insurance and equipment of $7,500,000 HFA permanent first mortgage loan for 19-23 North Street, Buffalo, Erie County. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the Sunny May board, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and resolution adopted. We're gonna go into executive session.
Oh, I see. You know, this one caught me by surprise. Linda will not take the requisite steps to go into executive session. Linda, ring the bell.
I'll ask for a motion and a second to go into executive session pursuant to section 105F of the Open Meetings Laws to discuss financial, credit, or employment history of a particular corporation. After reconvening in public session, we will announce if votes were taken in executive session.
So we need a vote for Sunny.
Right, so, can we have a motion, please?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna start and people will
Getting
rejoin
really
us.
pokey. You know, they say, no, Hofstra can't do it. You know, no
So
private
now
entity
that we're
wants
back
to.
into in public session, I'll announce that no
That's
votes
what
were
they- that's
taken
what's one of the
during
proposals.
executive session, and we'll turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks,
Item
everybody,
11.
for coming back in. Linda's taking attendance because sometimes when the executive session's over, not the same people, not everybody comes back. Linda, what is that? What is
Can't
that?
imagine why. So, we're on to item 11, and we can just.
We're on 11?
So we can, note that the materials
would
for
be good
item
if
11 were circulated under separate cover. And now before the board is a resolution approving an increase in reserves in the MIF for pool insurance, provided for the Sunny May Single Family Program. So now before the board is a resolution of the Sunny May Board. Is a resolution of the State of New York Mortgage Agency approving an increase in reserves in the mortgage insurance fund for loans covered by pool insurance, assuming the first and second previously entered for Sunny May. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Welcome back, everyone. We're up to item 12. We move on to item 12, resolution approving, increasing, and extending the mortgage insurance fund pool insurance policy for Sunny May Single Family Program in the amount of $300 million. Mr. Friedman.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mike Esposito.
Hi,
I'm
Mike.
Vice President of the Mortgage Insurance Fund. I work for Mike Friedman. I work on the single-family side of the fund. And so as the pool insurer for the State of New York Mortgage Agency, the Mortgage Insurance Fund provides pool insurance required by Moody's Investors Service, which rates Sunny May's mortgage revenue bonds. Moody's requires a pool policy that covers losses incurred as a result of loan defaults and sales proceeds of foreclosed properties up to an aggregate loss limit equal to 4% of the original principal balance of the loans covered by policy. So on November 12, 2015, the directors approved the issuance of the MIF pool policy number 0310254 with a face amount of $500 million to insure mortgage loans to be purchased during the period of January 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2016, with an annual premium of 5 basis points, which is computed on the unpaid principal balance of the insured mortgage loans. On December 15th, 2016, the directors approved an extension of the pool policy to insure loans reserved and purchased through December 31st, 2017. So to date, the Sunny May Single Family Program has purchased in the amount approaching the existing $500 million capacity of the pool policy. The directors are requested to approve an increase of $300 million in the face amount of the pool policy from $500 million to $800 million to cover loans which are purchased December 31st, 2018.
Okay. Thank you. Questions or comments from directors for Mr. Esposito? Very helpful, thank you. Linda?
Then now before the Sunny May Board is a resolution of the State of New York Mortgage Agency approving an increase in an extension of the pool insurance policy for the Sunny May Single Mortgage Program, assuming the first and second previously entered for Sunny May. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
There being no further items for the Sunny May Board this morning, Linda's going to ask for motions and seconds to adjourn the Sunny May Finance and Program and Board meeting. Linda?
Assuming the first and second previously entered for the Sunny May Finance and Program Committees, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is,
That was kind of quiet. Where is
the
it?
motion is carried and the committee meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike and Mike, thank you both. We're now going to move on to the HFA action items. Item 13, resolutions authorizing financing for the Newtown Creek Community Manufactured Home in Chemung County. Mr. Fletcher.
Hello, my name is Mark Flesher.
Hello, Mark.
I'm the Vice President of the Special Projects Unit, and I'm here to ask the members to authorize a $1.6 million approximate loan from the Manufactured Home Cooperative Program to allow the residents of the Newtown Creek Manufactured Home Park to buy the land under their homes and also to do some net repairs. Right now, there's 54 pads available, 53 are occupied. There's also four rental apartments in the project. We basically have to buy what's there, and this had some rental apartments. Our partners on this project are Rock USA, which is a CDFI that specializes in manufactured homes. They're putting up about 15% of the total development cost, $275,000. The price of the park is $1.45 million. We're doing approximately $225,000 with repairs, and there's approximately $30,000 of pre-development costs. This is in Chemung County, just where it says it's just north of Elmira, and this is the first park we've done in Chemung County. This will be the 8th park we've done with Rock USA as a partner, and the program itself has done 21 parks. This will be the 22nd since it was established in 1986. One thing, I know you want to do this quickly, one thing I want to point out is we originally seeded with $11 million worth of state money. It's a revolving loan fund, and we've already have out there right now $30 million worth of loans, or made $30 million. And this will take about 2.5 or 1.5 million of our money, and we'll still have 2.5 million in our account for 2 other projects we expect to bring to the members early next year.
Mark, these are manufactured, all of that funding is for manufactured home parks.
Yes, basically, not the homes themselves, buying the land and the infrastructure and repairing it.
And this is in Horseheads, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Directors have any questions or comments?
It's a good project.
It's a very good one.
Stabilizing those mobile parks is really important.
Thank you.
And now before the board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA board. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Item 14, resolutions authorizing financing approval in an estimated amount of $17 million for Craft Department, City of New Rochelle in Westchester. This is Leora's, right?
Yes.
Hello, Leora. Good morning.
Lost our track.
Yes.
Morning. Good morning. I'm here to request for your approval for the adoption of a resolution authorizing the issuance of an amount not to exceed $17 million in tax-exempt bonds, as well as $8.96 million in subsidy from the new construction program. The location of this project is in New Rochelle. My colleague Mike Friedman spoke about it earlier in the morning. This project aligns with the strategic plan of the city to create housing that's affordable to those earning less than 80% AMI, as well as to invest in more distressed areas in the city. As well, it aligns with a governor's plan of creating supportive and senior housing. This project is a 6-story building with 75 units. It has a ground floor retail as well as community space and parking. The project will serve both seniors and individuals referred through OPWDD. It's also a mixed income project. We have a variety of tiers in the project. We have a 40% tier, a 60% tier. We have a band for the supportive housing units with OPWDD, as well as a middle income tier as well. OPWDD is involved in the project in multiple ways. They are providing a $1.2 million loan to the project, as well as rental subsidy and supportive housing, supportive services rather. The supportive services will be administered through the Westchester Jewish Community Services, a local organization. Westchester Jewish Community Services will also provide the on-site and local programming for the seniors. As Mike Friedman had mentioned, the developer is our Regan Development, and they indeed have closed about 15 deals with the agency in close to 1,000 units. We think the project is efficient. The cost per unit is less than $400,000 a unit, which is relatively efficient, and it's below our term sheet maximum. And that's about it.
Thank you, Leora. Questions for directors about this project?
Seems like a great project.
I just want to make a comment, Linda. Maybe it's sort of a question and not particularly for Leora, but we talked about in prior meetings or maybe even board prep sessions, finding a way in these detailed project descriptions, which are really, really helpful, to point out expected MWBE
Right.
goals.
And-
And I know this is sort of a formatting question, and I was hoping to see something, and maybe it's going to be in January.
We've already, the MWBE unit worked with our finance and development team, and we've already formulated language that will be included in the board memos going forward in January. We just didn't have time with the production of these board materials to include that.
That's fine, thank you. And the reason doesn't really need stating, but I just think it's important that that good work and those goals and that priority of the governors be laid out the way some of the other things are laid out, sometimes somewhat as boilerplate, but be laid out as a condition, because these are the public documents that describe the projects, and obviously available for all to peruse and to see, and it sort of markets and drives home the point that these projects create those opportunities and we seek to fulfill them.
You will
So
see
thank
it
you.
in January.
Thank you for that. Thank you for describing this very important and really terrific project, Leora. Back to you, Linda. Let's take some action.
Now before the committee and the board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the committee, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I should specify this is the HFA program committee. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA board, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Item 15, a resolution authorizing finance approval in an amount not to exceed $375 million for Riverside Center 2 in New York County. This is Mrs. Ng who's going to present it.
Oh, good morning. On
Good
November
morning.
8, 2012, members of the board approved resolutions to finance a new construction of a multifamily building located at 21 West End Avenue, New York City. The borrowing entity is controlled by the Dermott Company. The project is a 43-story building with 616 units. 127 units are affordable at or below 50% of AMI, and 19 out of the 127 units are at below 40% of AMI. The bonds were issued as variable rate demand obligation bonds and were publicly offered in 2012, 2013, and 2015 in an aggregate amount of $275 million, with credit enhancement provided by America. The project completed construction and received the full TCO on October 2017 and is currently 81.8% leased and occupied. The request for the agency is to amend and restate the existing bond resolutions, essentially it's a refinancing, to incorporate the terms and provisions of the direct purchase mode, whereby Deutsche Bank will purchase all of the outstanding bonds for a term of 10 years. In addition, they have also requested to issue $100 million in mortgage participations and/or taxable bonds to reimburse the borrower for cost overruns, for refinancing fees, and to pay off part of the borrower's equity investment. $100 million is a large request, but is due to the project's location, and it is built over an active Amtrak line, and the cost overruns is due to obtaining various approvals from Amtrak, which caused approximately a 1-year delay.
Okay, thank you. Questions on this project? Comments? Linda?
And assuming now before the board, I apologize. I lost.
Page 9.
Thank you. Now before the board and the committee and the board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA program committee, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA board, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Item 16, resolutions authorizing financing approval in the amount not to exceed $25,740,000 and in a subsidy loan in an anticipated amount of $3 million for Regina Patches, City of New York, Kings County. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy holidays. So we're going to present to you this morning Regina Patches, which is a senior citizen Mitchell Lama project in the Gravesend section of Brooklyn for refinancing and rehabilitation. Russell will summarize the transaction.
Hi, I'm Russell Yubi. I'm the senior underwriter for the project with HFA F&D. Regina was built in 1972, Mitchell Lama Affordable Senior Housing. It's located, as Roger said, in the Gravesend section of Brooklyn, which is just a little northwest of Coney Island off the Belt Parkway. It's very near the water, Cropsey Avenue. It's an 18-story building, elevators, of course, and contains 168 total units. 99% of the units are affordable to tenants with incomes at or below 60% AMI. Also, 118 of the units are currently covered under a project-based Section 8 HAP contract, which will be renewed for another 20 years as a part of this refinancing proposal. HFA will also enter into a regulatory agreement with the project that'll preserve affordability for the project for another 40 years. The rehabilitation scope of work is fairly extensive. It's estimated at about $17.2 million, which is a little over $102,000 a unit. It'll address a lot of interior work, such as the upgrade of 9 units to comply with Americans with Disabilities Act accessibility. A major system upgrade will be the installation of an energy-efficient combined heat and power cogeneration system. Please don't ask me to explain that too thoroughly, but it's a major system
It's a good
upgrade.
thing.
With new windows, new doors, cabinets, and kitchen bathroom appliances. There'll be Energy Star appliances and lighting for the interior units. The common areas will be rehabilitated. There'll be work to the common areas, and exterior work will include roof replacement. Site work will include parking lot repair and some redesign of the landscape. The developer is a partnership of CB Emanuel and Phoenix Realty Group. CB Emanuel in particular has extensive experience with the agency and has worked with us successfully in the past. This financing request is for tax-exempt bonds in an amount not to exceed $25.7 million and a subsidy through the agency's Mitchell-Lama loan program in an estimated amount of about $3 million. Wells Fargo is expected to be the construction loan servicer, and Fannie Mae will provide the credit enhancement for both the construction and the permanent periods. Goldman Sachs is expected to be the tax credit syndicator, and the property manager is Shinda. They're currently running the property, and they are expected to stay on in that role. Questions?
Important projects, big building. Very quick. Any questions, directors? Comments? Very good. Thank you for the presentation.
Great, thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Roger. Good to see you. Linda, back to you.
Then now before the committee and board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA Program Committee. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA Board, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Item 17 this morning, resolutions authorizing financing approval on the issuance of an amount not to exceed $75 million of convertible option bonds to fund certain projects in the HFA 2018 pipeline. Morning.
Good morning. I'm Gloria Boyd, VP of Bond Finance. And this item, I guess Ruth Ann started to frame this as part of her president's report. We're bringing this item in light of the House's bill that eliminates private activity bonds, and we were looking at ways that we could preserve recycled bonding authority prior to January 1st, 2018. And so as part of this, we're presenting the COB in an amount not to exceed $75 million. It would capture prepayments that are expected to be received between the COB closing and 3 months afterwards. The thought is that, if tax reform goes in such a way that we still have private activity bonding authority, we wouldn't necessarily issue the COB, but given that we don't have clarity on the final bill and what it will include, I think it's prudent that we proceed with at least making sure we have the authority to issue the COB should we need to do it. The COB would have a term not to exceed 12 months, as outlined in the board materials. We would either issue it on a publicly offered basis or privately placed basis, and it would be issued under the Affordable Housing Revenue Bond resolution.
Thank you. Directors, questions, comments?
Let's hope we don't need it.
Agreed.
Good insurance policy.
And now before the committee and board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item, assuming the first and second previously entered for the committee. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the HFA and AHC boards, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
We will now be considering an additional item on the HFA agenda. Materials in connection with this item were sent to members by separate cover. So item 19 are resolutions authorizing amendments to existing bond resolutions for 525 West 52nd Street and 7 West 21st Street projects, City of New York, New York County.
As my colleague had mentioned, and as the Commissioner had mentioned also, this is related to the uncertainty of the tax bill as it relates to private activity bonds and how it may adversely affect the financing of several of the agency's projects, which are near construction completion and conversion to the permanent financing. If such proposals are enacted, bonds that are reissued, as described in the memo, may lose their tax-exempt status. In an attempt to protect against such loss, the members are being requested to adopt certain changes to the resolutions which would facilitate the conversion of such projects from construction to permanent financing and reduce the likelihood of triggering a reissuance and refunding at conversion in 2018. The projects that we are considering are the 525 West 52nd Street deal and 7 West 21st Street. 525 West 56th Street is a mixed-use building containing 392 residential units, of which 79 are affordable at below 60% of AMI. 7 West 21st Street is also a mixed-use building containing 289 residential units, of which 58 units are affordable at below 60% of AMI. Both of these projects were issued as tax-exempt and taxable bonds in 2015 and 2016, and it was privately placed with Wells Fargo as the lead agent. Staff has determined that the preservation of the tax-exempt status of the existing bonds is in the agency's interest, and that the requested changes do not create any additional liability or obligations of the agency. Therefore, staff requests that the resolutions presented be adopted by the members of the board.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
And now before the committee and the board are resolutions to be adopted that were transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the first and second previously entered for the committee, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and resolution adopted. Assuming the first and second previously entered for HFA and AHC boards, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Now I get to the moment you've been waiting for, which is where I turn to Linda and ask her to adjourn the meeting. But before I do so, let me make an attempt at a happy holidays message. You know, we always, you know, you see this, it sounds like a Christmas card or a jingle or an ad or something. You might see the expression home for the holidays. But we can each think about what that really means in real life. And what I ask you all to do, and your colleagues here, Ruth Ann, at this terrific set of housing agencies, is to think about the meaning of home for the holidays when you have a chance and in a serious way. And for those of you that have, let's say, 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 or 30 years of service, think about home for the holidays and the number of people, when you sit down for whatever your holiday family event is, who will be doing that in a home that you helped them obtain. Happy holidays. Linda?
Very nice.
So assuming the first and second previously entered for HFA and AHC Finance and Program Committees, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the meetings are adjourned. Assuming the first and second previously entered for HFA and AHC boards, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion's been carried and the meetings are adjourned. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 25th, 2018 at 9 a.m.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Linda. Great job to Linda and Ruth Ann.